Hello everyone, welcome back to another monthly hands-on session. And in this series, we talk about different features and capabilities of DronaHQ and Studio platform. And today is a today we are going to explore a very interesting topic, which is a very key and aspect of our Studio platform, which is integrating to data sources. The Studio platform provides you various methods to connect with various data sources. And today we are going to see how to work with them, how to connect with them, and also build small application. And these helps you to empower your micro apps to build different website and mobile applications. My name is Shibam Dhar, and I'm developer advocate at DronaHQ. And today we are going to see how to connect to databases, third party as well as REST APIs. So let's just dive into it. Let me share my screen. Uh, okay, so right now I'm in my studio account, and here we can see that in the left hand side we have a connector options, and from there you can see that if you have already connected your some of the connectors, you can see all the lists provided here. But in case you want to connect to more, you can simply click here. You will have list of choices to connect with, like databases, APIs. We have different databases options from MySQL to ShellScript, Amazon, DocumentDB. And in the APIs, we already have pre-configured third-party APIs like GraphQL, Airtable, Gmail. And also, in case you have your own API which you want to connect, you can simply rely on REST API. So before moving forward, let's just create our app. We'll just create a new app where we will do our hands-on how to use the configure databases. And meanwhile, let's go to our connector section and click on plus connector. So out of all these options, I'll choose PostgreSQL. And you can see that tab has been opened, and here you have to provide a name and few details in order to secure integration with your PostgreSQL database. So let me give it a name. Let's see. TV. And the connect to configure your connector, either you can provide a connection string or you can provide the details like host, port, number, database name, and authentication site with username as password. Let me just quickly fetch detail. Okay. So this is the detail of my connection string. Like this is my connection string for my PostgreSQL database where I'm using bit.io, and the port number is provided. The database name is different. Let me quickly copy paste the database name. Okay. So once you have provided all the necessary details, simply click on test connection. It will check for your authentication, and if the connection is successful, you can simply click on save. So our database name is CustDB, which is like a customer database. And let's click on add query. So adding query enables you to provide like to write the query from in the query builder, which we already provide in our Studio platform. And here you can write different queries depending on what type of action you want to perform with your database. Let's say I just want to view all data. Let me write the query. Select star and my database name from. Just quickly copy my database name. Let's do a test query. So as you can see, I have written a query here, and it is selecting all the data from this particular table, that is first list. And you can see that this with the serial number, name, email ID, and active user, the details have been provided here. So I'll just simply click on save. Let's click on close. So once you have configured your database, you can see that right here, your database will be shown in the whole list like first DB view all. And this this connector can be further used in your MacWeb. So let's go to our app which we have created, like a new app. Just go there. Now I want to view the details. So let's to view the details. Let's get a table break control. Now in the table grid control, we have properties, data bind section, and also events. So go to data bind section. We'll have different ways to bind your data. We have static data. You can use your sheets, control variables, and logging mode. So we'll simply click on connectors. Click on select connector. Search here the database, the connector name which you recently configured. So here it quickly refresh it. So here we can see that the PostgreSQL data connector is present right here. So click on it, click on view all. So this is the query, and in case you have further queries, like if you want to add something or if you want to delete something, you can simply click on there and production, then click on continue. You can see the custody is here, query is provided here, and in the transform response, let's just go these. So under transform response, this basically helps you to run a script on the data which you are receiving and provide it some transformation at a desired format. So in case if you want to add some additional details in the data which you are receiving from your studio perspective or studio side, or if you want to clean the data basis on certain JavaScript code, you can just simply provide here. Let's say you are for response. So the response which I'm currently getting is result, then rows, and then cust ID, name, email, and user. So let's say if I just want to do a little bit of transformation for cleaning the data. Let's click on test and let's view transform response. Now you can see that we are only getting cust ID, name, email, and user, active user. So this is a small example how you can use transform transformation for the response, and just you can bind the keys which you want to view. So here you can see that the number of lists is already been chosen. Like I want to see ID, name, email, and username. Just click on test and finish. So here is it. As you can see, all the details related to cust name, ID, and active users have been showcased here. So you can also do some changes if you want to write here like customer IDs. You can simply edit the details from here, customer ID, customer name, so let's just say. So in this way, you can add little bit of formatting And also we have formatting of data. You can simply click here. You can select a column which you want to add some level of formatting. Let's say if you want to select customer email and select the column type as we have email for this email, and simply click on finish. You will see that that particular column will be now used as email ID, right? So this is a one small use case which in which you can use to view your database and use it in your dashboard and more. And moving forward, let's go forward and let's add another connector. So now we are going to just now we have added our database. Let's try something from our APIs. Since we already have third-party APIs already being configured, so let's click on Gmail. So there are a list of IDs which are already have been added here. In order to connect your own Gmail email ID, you can just simply click on connect Gmail, give your name, sign in with Google, and this will open up a dialog box which is right now on my screen. Might not be visible, but just do the connection. And in this way, the whole connection will be secured. And since I've already added my email ID here, I will be using from the example provided here itself. So this is a very straightforward, which uses Google sign-in, and you can simply just give your username and email ID and password to sign into Gmail, and this will add your account directly. Now, how to use it? So we can use this particular, let's say, let me add a screen. Let's say I want to build a form in which I want to provide send queries, right? So I'll just simply use few controls. Let me just put it up here. So first the container, then text input. So the first thing which I want to take as input is like the email ID where I want to send the email. Let's say to email. And next, in case if you want to add someone as CC also, that is also can be provided here, or credit email. Let's see, CC. Okay. And another important thing is to provide a subject. Subject. Now comes the part where you want to provide the mail content. So for this, let me use Markdown editor. Let me just clear the editor. And finally, we need a button in order to trigger an action to send a mail, right? So let me get a button. Let me rename this. Send. Now, the configured API connector of Gmail, I need to add it. Why is it not saved? Send. I need to add it in the button event section. So on button click, I want to trigger an action which will perform a server side action of Gmail. and the endpoint is for sending a mail, and it will use an account, let's say this account, and you can find your own configured account from here from the list. So click on continue. Now the from email can be blank. To email, I will use a keyword because from email will be mostly from the email which you have selected in the previous, like in the previous step for your configuring the account section. So to email, let me just type to. And this is the keyword which I am using in order to put a reference to the inputs control which I have provided in our app. And then CC. BCC, I don't require it. Subject is important. So let's just do subject. Content type, let's do text. You can do HTML also. It's up to your choice. And for message, it is the markdown editor. Right. So let's do continue. Finish. Let me save it. Let me do a preview to the control. Let's do a send query, and you can check your logs. So this option helps you to see whether the action is been carried out successfully or not. You can see for the status, or you can see for the status like it is showing 200, the type, and also if you just click on it, you can see on the response section and the output. You can click on label, it is showing that it's been sent. So the email which I have used right now, it is a temporary email. Let me share my another screen in order to show you whether I have received the email or not. Here it is. So this is our temporary email, and you can see that I have received an email from Team Deltex as subject as technical query. And if I just click on it, you can see how to connect to DB in Studio. So this is a quick demonstration how you can use third-party APIs such as Gmail, and there are other like SendGrid, Slacks, and more. So this will these will eventually help you to build a strong micro app for the chat system or a discussion forum and writing queries to your business, right? So okay, so moving on. So these are some basic, like it didn't require any such. It was already been provided in our API list. Now let's move on to our REST API. So the REST API, as I mentioned earlier, is basically for those part in which you have your own APIs, or in case the API which is not listed in our list, so you can just provide it from here. So for this, let me fetch the details. I'll just copy. So the connector name I will be using is I will be using a Twitter DB. So it will have no security as of now, and it will be a GET request. The URL will be id.twits, where ID. For now, let me provide an ID. Let me fetch my own ID. So under the configured test API for a connector, here you have to add simple API endpoints where the studio will focus and try to retrieve the data from, right? And here, if you are well versed with APIs, you will know that there are several methods. So we have a get method, post method, put, patch, head, and delete. So I just want to retrieve the data. So I will be using get method. and the data is basically the tweets which I want to receive from my own account, and this is my own account ID. So right here in the header section, there is, we need to add an authorization and a key. So let me just copy. So the header will be authorization, and the key is, just fetch it. So it is bearer and the end key. So in case if you're wondering how to get the key, so it will be available in your Twitter developer portal. You can check from there. And let me add a name for our test API, get tweets. Let's do a test connection. Just yeah, I think there's some spaces been provided here. Just give me a minute. Yes. So there was a space just after authorization. So this is a very important part where you must like you must put it into notice that there shouldn't be any space after the authorization or before the authorization or just anywhere in the whole header section, or else it will be read. It will be read from the endpoint perspective. So right now you can see that I am getting a response code of 200, and the data all have been fetched, like the edit history, the IDs, and the text which I have used. So this is the data which I want actually. So let's just click on see. So before moving forward to our app part, where we will view how to view the whole details, I want to add one more thing, is like adding the variable to our endpoint. So here is the database which I have added just now. And this is the REST API which I've just added. And let's click on edit, get tweets. And right here in the here, just a second. So you can see that right here, the ID I have provided and between curly braces. So this will add up as a parameter which will be included in the whole part of the API. So, and if I just simply put the key right here, the ID, you can do again test API, you can see that it will be work just as simple. The only benefit which we get is that in this way, we can make the ID as a variable. And in this way, it will not return a static data, but in case if you are providing your own ID. So let's just save it. So here is a text input where the user will provide their user ID of their Twitter account. And this is a button which will enable me to trigger the action in order to fetch the details like tweets. And I want to show it in a simple table grid itself. Just drag and drop. Now click on the button, go to this event section, click on there, add an event of server-side action. Click on okay, let me just okay, the page is not loaded yet. So let me just cross it down, go to the connector section, refresh. Yes, the Twitter table. So I've just refreshed the page, nothing. I will just refresh the connector list, nothing else. So now I can see the get tweets and click on the endpoint, and it will show you the details like where to fetch. The production is this. Click on continue, and right here you can see that the ID needs to be provided, and there are two ways. Either you can provide a static value, or you can just simply click on use keyword and where is it? Enter user ID. And the authorization, you can have to provide the bearer key. Just simply paste it here. Click on, just in case, click on the refresh response to view whether it is working or not. Click on refresh. Provide the key, provide the authorization detail, and wait for a few minutes, and it is working. So this is the detail which we are getting. Click on done. Next, click on continue. Now, before finishing, there is one more thing, is that the data which you are getting is not saved anywhere yet. So I'll be adding a variable. And let's say I just want to see the tweets or just the text. So tweets. So this is the name of the variable, which will contain only the details like tweets which are present in my account. Click on finish, and on success I want to set the data from on-screen action. You can click on set control value. So the control I'll be choosing is the table grid one, since is the second table grid right now, and the value is the variable which we just configured. So click on continue, click on finish. Let's save it and click on preview. Let's see what we are getting. So under the enter user ID, let's provide our user ID. Click on fetch tweets. As you can see, all the recent tweets has been provided right here. which you can check from the documentation of Twitter, and there are certain time endpoints which will fetch you the details such as images and the times and more. So moving forward to, we will add one more connector today, and this will be yet again another REST API, but this time it will have a little bit of authentication method, and this time we will use basic authentication method. So the connector name is like let's say ticket. So for this connector, we will be using Freshdesk, and we already have Freshdesk as in our connector list. But since I wanted to show you a application example, so I'll be using Freshdesk. So right here, the username, let me just fetch it. You can view the username as the key from your developer portal of Freshdesk. Password. So right now it will be a GET request, and I just want to see what all are present in my Freshdesk account. So just put it here. So this is the endpoint of my Freshdesk account, and let's give it a name. View ticket. Click on test connection. So these are all the details regarding related to the tickets present in our account. Click on save. Now for this part, we will not be seeing will not be only seeing the data. We will I also want to create a new ticket. So for the connector names, so create ticket, and the endpoint path, copy paste it. It will be same only, just the method will be different. It will be a post method, and under advanced, you can just from regular, let's click on draw. Here, you can provide a body for form parameters, which will eventually help you to provide the details to your Freshdesk account in order to create a new ticket. So I've already created a small template type. Let me just paste it. You can see if I just click outside, the name is provided as variable. So you can view from here, wrap the variable name inside double curly braces to make it dynamic. So I have made the name, description, subject, email, and priority as dynamic. And the status is given as 2, which is a default data. As the status, you can view see all these attributes or the properties from the documentation of Freshdesk. There is a whole list of other properties which you can provide. Other than this, so I will just using this. So name, let's say Shibam, description. Email ID, let me give it email ID. And the priority, so priority, if you check from the documentation, there are 4 types of priority. 1, 2, 3, 4, low, medium, high, and urgent. So I'll just give it as a 3, like high, and just do a test API, wait for the status, and it is an. So the query has been executed properly. As you can see, the description is there, description text is there, and also all the details has been there. The subject is here and the status is given. Okay, so this is working. Let's click on save. So we have added 2 sub APIs or sub APIs for this particular Freshdesk API. Let's go to our app section, create a new screen. So I'll create a, template. I'll create a template through which we'll be able to send the tickets. So let me just get the controls. So what I need a text input. So this text input will be used to provide a name. And then I need another text input, provide email, email ID. And I need another text input, provide the subject for the ticket. And for the priority, I will not be using text, but instead I will be using dropdown. And finally, I want to provide a description for the ticket. So it will be a plain text. So I have text area. And to trigger the action, we finally need the button. So this is like a very simple and straightforward way to build any type of template. You can explore more, as per your requirements. So this is a very simple and basic template for creating a template. So this is like a form I'm creating, and let me just name it. Okay, so before we add the action for a button, so under the priority, I have to provide some data. So in order to like the student to understand, like 1 is low, 2 is medium, and 3 is high, and 4 is urgent. So for that, I'll go to statics data, and here let me just copy and paste the array. So I have an array of objects. So you can see that the priority low, the value will be 1. And let's select on save. So it is save now. Now, when you are using the drop-down control, you don't want to see the values 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to see whether it is a low, medium, high, or urgent. But when you are sending the request, you want to send the values as such 1, 2, 3, and 4. For this, we will go to the property of the drop-down control, go down and click on display column. So display is 1, but the value will be 2. Since the first is the low which you want to display and the value is 2, right? Now click on create ticket, click on events, click on button click. And go to server side action. Before we do that, I think it will again ask me to refresh the connector. So I'll just do a refresh quick. Meanwhile, let me just give me a minute. Just So here we have the ticket table. Now let's select our endpoint. I want to create the ticket. On continue. Now from here, what we have done earlier, let's just give it the keywords in order to do a linking. Name will be name. Description will be description. Subject, we have subject text. Okay, so this will be subject one. And email will be email ID. The priority will be the drop down priority. So let's do continue. Let's to finish. And on success, I want to do a post message in order just to understand like whether it is successful or not. So yes. Let's create a ticket. So it's showing that has been done. Let's check our logs also. And let's go to click on here, click on response, we'll check the output. As you can see, the description has been provided and the text is also there. You can see like the form ID and all the details has been provided right here. So let me also show you whether it is there in our Freshdesk account or not, right? So we'll add just one more screen. Add a table grid quickly. Go to its data bind section. Click on connectors. Select connector. Click into view tickets. Continue. And like let's see. Okay, so there. Let's find our columns we want to see. So I want to see, let's say, priority, subject, so let's just move ahead with priority and subject just to check whether we are getting the details or not. And so here we have, as you can see, there is the subject API config, so which we have just recently added previously. So these are all the methods in which you can, so these are all the database types or the API types in which you can add with various authentication methods and such. Now, the last thing which I want to include in this whole session is that different way methods to add the connector. So one way is just you can go from here and click on connector and do plus connector. Next way is like, as you can see, I've been doing here from this also, you can find the plus connector from here. And the studio recently also added in the data section where you can add data as variable from the connector perspective. You can just simply click here. You can do a connector library, and this will provide you the whole lot where you can select from the library which you have already been configured, or you can all add your own connector just by clicking it. So instead of doing that, let me just write here. Let's get to our first. Let's go to our screen one. I'll quickly show you what is we are doing. So here we are using this connector known as CusDB, right? So this CusDB, we are using the view all endpoint API. So instead of using the connector side, I want to use the data. So just click on there. I'll search for just a second. It's a little bit lag, okay. So once you click the API or the connector, you can see that the name, you can see, let's say, you can provide a name. You can see the query. You can also click on edit if you want to do some changes in this query. You can click on transform response. You can write to JavaScript right here. So let's simply let's go to the data filter object. So in this filter object, you can provide some changes in which you want to do some filtration in your data response. So in case I only want to see, let's say, the active users as 1 or active users as 0, you can do that. Just type it here. Okay, so there is an issue happening here. Let me just remove this quickly. Let me do it run again. And yes, so it's working right now. Yeah. Okay, so now you can see that the data has been provided here, and this is added as a variable. So if I just click on test and save, and there, I hope it gets saved. So blue data is provided here, and it has been saved. So in case if you don't want to use the connector and you want to use the variable, you can just simply click on variables, and here you can find the list of data. So what was the name of our variable? You can click the blue data. So see ID, I want to see email, I want to see active user. Save, just to save. Okay, I can put on. So it is not getting refreshed. I think that. I think there is some issue over here, but just to rely out there, you can simply go there and click on variables and work with that and add the variables in order to use the database again and again. You don't have to go and repeatedly click on the or request for the APIs. You can just use the variables again and again. So I think there is some issue going on with the internet itself. So yeah, that would be all for today's session. So these all are the methods which we can use to connect your databases, and there are other ways also, like there are other certain authentication methods such as basic, uh, multi-step authentication, digest auth, and others. So these all things will be coming, will be covered in the near future. So that will be all for today. Thank you. Thank you for staying with the whole session.